Aloha my kako, this is Miss Ilei with another episode of Stay at Home Blues and Oranges brought to you by After School All Stars Hawaii. In today's episode, we'll be learning how to make poi balls. If you don't know what it is, here's what it looks like. There are many different variations of it. There's some long and there's some short. Today, we'll be making long ones. Some materials you'll need for today is some yarn. I have two colors here, but if you only have one, it's okay. You'll also need a white trash bag. The regular kind that you use for your kitchen is okay, but please make sure you ask permission to use one. You will also need some shopping bags like the ones I have here. These are the thick kind, so about 4 of these should be good. The last thing you need is a pair of scissors. The first thing that we want to do is we want to measure out our yarn. I chose to start off with orange, and I'm going to measure out my arm span. So go all the way across your chest and all the way to the other end of your hand. And then you're going to mark right where you need to cut. I made a loop on mine, so I'm going to grab my scissors. Make sure you're holding your scissors correctly. And then I'm going to make sure that I always cut away from myself, just like how I did. Okay, now we just double check. Make sure, and we're good. Okay, so you will need to cut 9 strands for each poi ball that you make. Here I have laid out 9 strands each, so 18 altogether. And then I have 2 colors, so I made 6 of the orange, 6 strands of orange, and then I made 3 strands of blue. And that was for each side of the poi ball. Okay, so the next thing that we want to make is the poof that goes at the end of our poi ball. And I decided to use blue since I have so much orange already. And so what you want to do is you want to measure out at least the width of 4 of your fingers, like how I have here. And then you want to wrap the yarn around your fingers about 25 times. Hold on, let me just turn this around like that, and you want to wrap it about 25 to 30 times around your fingers, just like how I'm doing here. This one was already pre-cut, so this should be just about 25 to 26 wraps, and there you have it. You'll need 2 of those. Okay, so now that we have our 2 end pieces, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one set of our yarn that we cut. And what we want to try to do is we want to make sure that they're all starting off the same length. We don't want one piece longer than the other. So try and make it as even as possible. It's okay if the length is not all the same, but we want to make sure that they are somewhat lined up together. Just like how I'm doing here. And then once that is done, we want to take one piece of our end, find the middle, open it up just a little bit, and then we want to string through our yarn just like so. And then we're going to pull it all the way through, find the middle, and we want to make sure that both sides are just about equal. So like what I have here. Gonna lay it out, and then see how I have some extra yarn at the end. That's okay, as long as it's somewhat equal. Alright, for this next part, we are gonna use our foot to help us out. Doesn't matter which one, whichever foot you're comfortable with. And we're gonna take our end piece that we strung our yarn through, and we're gonna put it right over our big toes. And it's gonna act as an anchor for when we start to braid our yarn. Now that our strands are ready to go, we're gonna start to braid. And the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to switch the outside strand with the middle, and we'll pull on it just a little bit, and then we're going to go on an alternate side and switch with the middle again. So it's always gonna be left side switch with the middle, and then the right side switch with the middle.
And every time that you switch the strands, pull on it just a little bit so that it doesn't mess up the look of your braid. So just like how I have here, if I go just a little slow, you can see that every time I pull the strand is after I switch it, just like how I'm doing here. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward this part, but if ever you need to pause or slow the video down, feel free to do so. Okay, so when you're done braiding, you should braid it for about an arm's length, and then this is what it should look like. And then you should also have at least, you should leave a hand length left over and not braid it all the way down to the bottom, just like how I have mine here. Next, we are going to make the stuffing for our poi balls, and we're going to use the shopping bags. I have two that I'm using here. These are the really thick ones, and all you want to do is just kind of squeeze the air out of them, both of them, just like how I'm doing. And then we're gonna put both of them together just like this. Again, want to squeeze it out as much as we can. Fold it in half in the middle once, and then fold it in half again like how I am doing here. And this will be used as the stuffing for our poi ball. So now that we have our stuffing, we're gonna lay out 3 strands, separate them just like how I have here, and then take 2 strands and we're gonna tie it around the grocery bags just like how I am doing now. And what this will do is it will connect the rope to the stuffing of your poi ball, just so that nothing falls out or nothing goes flying. And then right after I'm done with the orange, I'm gonna add in the blue and tie a knot with the blue strands as well. Now that the strands are all tied, we're gonna take our scissors. Please make sure you're holding your scissors correctly. And always remember to cut away from yourself, and we're gonna cut off the extra yarn at the end just like this.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the covers for our stuffing for the poi balls. And we're going to use the trash bag, and if you have one like mine, you can cut off the strip at the top. Make sure you're holding your scissors correctly, and then all you want to do is trim off that plastic tie at the top, because we really don't need that part. So after we cut off that orange strip, you can go ahead and cut your rubbish bag into 4 equal pieces, 4 squares. I folded mine in half, just like so, and then I folded it in half again, and then I just cut the folded edges, and it gave me 4 squares, and that's what we will be using to cover our poi balls. Alright, now that we have that, we are gonna go ahead and start covering our poi balls. So you want to grab one of your trash bag squares, and then we're gonna place the stuffing. So fold it in half like how I did, so you're covering the knot. And then we're gonna place it right in the middle of one of our squares. And then we're just gonna take it all up like how I'm doing now, and we are going to wrap it around the stuffing, the shopping bags, so that it looks nice and all together. It might take a little bit of massaging just to make it look nice and round. So just go ahead and do what I am doing here. I twisted it towards the end so that it holds nice and tight. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a scrap string. I use the ones that I cut off from the shopping bags. Grab a strap, and then this part you might actually need to ask for help, but if you got it, then go get them. And then all you're going to do is you're going to tie a knot like how I'm doing. You want to put it as close to the stuffing as possible, and then you want to tie a knot right at the top, just like how I'm doing, and then it'll hold your trash bag in place. Just like this, and then you can even wrap it around one more time and make a double knot, but if not, then that's good enough, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so to help our poi ball look a little more nicer and put together, we're going to use another one of those trash bag squares to cover it up again. So we're going to place it in the middle again, wrap it up just like how we did the first one. If you have some short pieces, make sure to just tuck it in so that it doesn't stick out when you tie the yarn at the top, but we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay? You want it to look a little more rounder without, not like how mine looks, but just a little more put together. So make sure you massage, and when you feel like you've got the perfect round ball, then go ahead and tie the yarn at the top. Alright, now that we have our poi ball covered, you can either stop here and you can go ahead and trim off the extra at the top right above the yarn, or you can stay for a little bit more, and I will show you how I like to trim the trash bags. So what I do is I measure just about like a finger width from the yarn, and then I take another piece of yarn and I tie it right at the top, just like how I'm doing right here. And this is gonna act as a guide for our trash bags to come down on. So after I tie the knot, I snip off the edges. Make sure you're always cutting away from yourself. And then what I will do is fold all the extra pieces down like how I'm doing here. Make it nice and all together, and then I will take another piece of yarn and I'm gonna squish all the trash bags to the rope, just like how I have here, and then tie another knot right over all of the excess. Again, ask for help if you need it. Sometimes it's a little hard to do it by yourself. I've done this a few times on my own, so I kind of know what to do. But again, so you're just gonna push all the bags down, the excess down, and then tie a knot. And then when you are done, you can go ahead and cut off all the extra pieces that is sticking out. Make sure to always cut away from yourself, and always clean up your rubbish. This is going to leave a lot of rubbish, so make sure you do it either over a trash can, or just make sure that you pick up your rubbish after you are done. Okay, so this is what your poi ball should look like after you trim all the edges off. Kind of makes it look a little bit more presentable. The last thing that we're going to do is the finishing touches at the end. So the loop that we had at the end of your poi ball, you are going to take your scissors and then find the middle, and you're gonna just cut it right in half, just like how I'm doing here. And then trim off any longer pieces so that it kind of looks like it's all the same size. And so this is what it should look like at the end. And there you have it, your poi ball, and look how nice it is. Good job. So the first move that we will learn using our poi balls is called a windmill. And so the technique to a windmill is one of the poi balls will trail behind, maybe like a millisecond behind, so like how I'm doing here, and one is going to be slightly above the other hand, and this is what the windmill will look like. So they're just going to trail right past each other, and then this is what it'll look like from the side once again. So I am right hand dominant, so my right hand will come just above my left a little bit, like how you see, and then I will bring my hands together, and that's what it looks like from the side. Next move is a single hand windmill, and it is very similar to the first move. We're going to swing our poi balls forward again, bring them together like we would a regular windmill, dominant hand just above, stick our pinky out on our dominant hand and slip the other poi ball right into our pinky. And as you can see, my wrist does most of the work. And this is what a single windmill looks like. So if I do it from the side, once again, swing forward, dominant hand just above the other, and then slip the string right into your pinky, and then my wrist will do the rest of the work. I like to call this next one the push, and it's one of my favorites. So how we do it is you start off same way like the windmill, swing forward, bring both arms together slowly, and what you want to do is you want to wait until both of the poi balls are at a downward slope, and then you want to push one hand forward and bring it back, like how I'm doing here. It takes a little bit of practice and timing. As you can see, mine isn't the best, but I like it because it helps with the timing of the swing. So again, wait till the poi ball comes down, and you want to be quick, and then you push your arms through just like that. Again, it does take practice, but the more you practice, the better you get. So I don't really know the proper name for this next move, but I like to call it a trail. And what it looks like is a figure 8 on either side of you. Just like how my arms are moving here, it's creating a figure 8. Now the way to practice this is you practice it one arm at a time, like how I'm doing, and you create a figure 8 right on the side of you. Practice with one arm, and then you practice with the next arm, just like this. And then as you get better, you practice with both hands, and each arm should be following each other just like how my arms are. This is what it looks like in big movements, and then you can minimize your movements as you get better. So we did a side trail. Let's learn how to do a front to back trail. Again, I don't know the proper names for these, so I like to make up my own. And this is what a front to back trail looks like. Very similar to the side to side one, only difference is it's going front to back. So to practice, again, we start with one arm and we create a figure 8 right above our heads. This is what it looks like from the side. Again, figure 8 right above our heads, front and back. So we practice with one arm, and then we practice with the next arm, just like so. And as you practice, you should become more comfortable with how the poi balls move in your hands. Again, this is what it looks like from the side. Again, figure 8. And then again, Both of them should be going the same way, just like so. You can make your arm movements bigger so you get used to it. This is what it should look like from the side. And that is the front to back trail. Okay, so this last move is a little bit more complex. I took a while to learn this one, and it requires a lot of movement compared to the others, and so this is what it looks like. I don't necessarily know the name for this one, but as you can see, it takes a lot of concentrating, and so the way we can practice this one is again with one arm. And so the trick is to turn your body whatever way the poi ball is going. You're still swinging the poi ball forward, as you can see, and then you're gonna go twice in the back of you, twice in the front of you. Okay, so always turn your body and you want to swing it always forward. It's always going to be in a forward motion. So again, slowly swing it forward, and you're going to go back, up, side, turn. Okay, again, side, back, side, side, back, side.
And that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make your own poi balls. I hope you had fun. As a safety reminder, these are definitely not made to be going around and hitting somebody with. Yes, we don't want injuries. I know these are only grocery bags, but please don't use these as a weapon. It's not what they're made for. Again, I hope you enjoyed today's class, and please give this video a like, comment below what you would like to see next, and I will see you folks in the next episode. Ahui ho!